Listen, we all come with emotions. We all were born with emotions. What's most important about emotions is we have to understand they were intentionally given to us. It's normal for a human being to feel. It's nothing for us to be ashamed of, whether we are male or female, no matter what we have been taught throughout life. And one thing you must learn if you're going to put yourself out there and you want to mingle, you want to date, you want to, whatever your preference is of you calling it, okay, that you want a counterpart, a significant other. Um, the dangers of being met with what we call love language, when love is love. Um, we just have different forms and ways of showing affection. Amen. So, by reason why you always hear me say it means a lot when it comes to the definition of a thing, um, because words do shape our world and the way we view things and the perspectives that we all glean and we gather, we come from. You know, it does. It makes a big difference on the enlightenment in your world. I'm not talking about everybody else's world. I'm talking about your world. Your world. Because at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, you the only one got to live with you. Okay? So it's your choice whether you are seeking to be part of someone else's life or not. Um, Whereas it's pertaining to a relationship. So the Bible tells us to govern ourselves, um, protect our heart, for out of it flows the issues of life. Many of us fail. Well, I don't want to say fail. Many of us had to experience that a million times before we learned because of why. The definitions of those things that we were taught, how to love one another, how to love another human being as a spouse, as a something. And you know what? I do believe the biggest part of that in parents and all of that teaching us that is the part that we forget is to love a human being. That's from children, family, spouses, yourself, and of that's the major of them. That more than none, a lot of us can truly say that we were never really taught to love ourselves. We were taught to love other people. We were taught to take care of other people, to put other people first. You know, I understand putting God first. I'm talking about people. Um, and it does. It's a big insinuation there into how you perform therein in life. Um, by succumbing to broken hearts, being hurt, uh, being used, battered, whatever you feel your predicament that you had to come across. Um, if you do not want around the way, around the way girl love, scrub love, other woman love, other man love, you know, all those things. If you don't want to fall into that category, you have to be very careful um, in your single season to work on those details, those demanding details of your life that speaks to you, not for the moment, but for a lifetime. Not for the moment, but for a lifetime, because it will carry you through the rest of your life. And those are things I believe with really loving other people, um, and the wisdom from experience that we carry that tells me that we can't be taught those things. It's actually an internal process, and it's a process of being tested through a millennial things. Apparently, some of us have got an award. Okay. And we could just give it back. um, nevertheless, nevertheless, don't put more harm to danger. I was just accompanied with thinking I had passed by something and I was like, I tried to save it. So I went back to look for it and I couldn't find it. So I was like, well, let me go over here and I'm going to look for it because I don't even know the person's name. But I remember I did share the status with y'all. And I was like, well, let me check this out or whatever. So I typed in the person's account or whatever to look up because I wanted to save the message from their content, from their video. And if I get a little proper, excuse me. It could sound a little different because I'm calm, excuse me. It's there. um, but however, I looked and I was just intrigued to scroll a little bit, just not by way of how we just hear content and we just say, oh, I like that, and they talking some good stuff. Um, this person is a real person, and they're not what you call it AI stuff and whatever. He's speaking from the heart. Um, so the first couple of scrolls on this content, yeah, okay. Um, and I don't have a type. However, yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. A couple more scrolls. I probably went through like five of his statuses and ended up with the last one. Well, the Lord will lead me into that. It accompanied, which the first time I saw him, I don't know, the Lord had showed it to me up front. And he talks good stuff, but I was able to see in between the lines of what he was saying. So as I was viewing the content and all this stuff in the last one it had came to, so at one point he almost got blocked. Never would, but thank God the Holy Spirit guided me to listen, hear him out before determining what he said was, mm, you know, not it wasn't offensive, but the way he started out, it was like, eh. I don't agree with that. But I did hear him out, and then I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. I get where he's coming from. So I tapped into the last one, and all jokes aside, um, it wasn't the fact that his son was in the video with him, but it's what he was teaching his son. You men better listen real good. Because I can see why some of y'all got these accounts where y'all looking for these women. If you're going to put yourself out there and you're going to put those things out there that you value, your heart and what you're looking for, you're trying to draw in for as being a woman, a spouse, a mate that you like to play whatever this important part in your life. Um, you're gonna want to be very strategic because women, I think a lot of y'all fail at that. Not, I'm trying to use the right because I don't want to say that because it's not a fail. It's just, can we keep it at a big turn off? Just put it that way because it's accustomed to what she's looking for. And based off what he said he's looking for, the turnoff was okay, the fact that he was telling his son, well, it wasn't pertaining about women, it was pertaining about God. So let me clue y'all in on something if you're trying to draw a spiritual woman, a godly woman. When you make statements, which could be a good thing. I don't want to spoil it for the men, like y'all, was mad at Steve Harvey with from writing his book about what the man what thing I think like a man, whatever. Nevertheless, you know, always be teachable and reachable. And if you want to be successful at it, we all come with wisdom, experience, knowledge that we can glean from one another. That's what I take from it. Amen. Uh, Whatever somebody saying, you can take it or leave it. Just the same thing as I was just. What is this? Is that my page? Um, the same thing I was just saying about him. So it was up to me to make a decision if I wanted to adhere to what he was saying, agree with what he was saying or not. And you don't dislike anyone or comes whatever. People, this is what I don't like about social media. People have a right. Okay. It's different when you're talking about what God has established and based off what He says and not based off your personal opinion and your personal narrative. This is why I'm so big on you need to understand how to be strategic, how you discern, and you know how to separate people, okay, and God, the flesh, people, and the spirit, God. So it makes a big difference. Understand, you know, I watched something earlier. I don't know if I can go back and find it. But I watched something earlier, and for the sake of this one thing, it got me because it was hard. I'm gonna be honest here. It was hard for me to watch the video, honey. It was good. It was good. But what was hard for me to watch it because I was really trying to establish the case of the biracial couples and things, the thingy things. And I was trying to get that drive home the strong point. You know that you know a lot of people miss having love in their life for as a counterpart is concerned because they too societal based. Now, I'm tell you, one thing he taught his son about God, the video before that, which I almost blocked him, he was talking about, and this is what happened to me when I was just minding my own business. And apparently, because I say hi to men, I'm already in a relationship. Okay, uh-uh. That ended really quick. No. So I don't know what the Lulu land you was in, but for me to have a conversation, a friendly conversation with a man, it's just like having a conversation with anybody else. If you'd ever get information from me to see if I even am interested or like you, do tell. You go run off and say, well, you know, and you stay away from her because I'm in a relationship with her. Whatever, you finna be really embarrassed with me because I ain't scared. I'm not scared of the society. I'm not scared of what people gonna think about me online, whether it's church or not. Because if it's a lie, it's a lie. And if that's what you said, that's what you did. I'm not a liar, and I don't pretend and fake things. So they didn't see that coming. So when I got online, because that was something nobody ever thought, well, she's going to try to protect her, her image and all that. Well, no, I'm in God's image, and the basis of that, the factual, the head of that is truth. Okay, truth, because that's what He stands for. So when I stand up and I say something, I'm gonna say it just like it is. You can get mad, you can not like it, or whatever the case may be. And if you don't want to be a part of that, then just stay away from me. That's the way I feel about it. You know what I mean? That's family, friends, foe, interested people, counterparts, well, whoever. It's just it. And when you get to that place, you become dangerous because people intentionally base the fact that uh, they can somehow intimidate you, put dry fear in you, or something. They can keep you back into a wall, keep you silent while they do what they do. Then the enemy mission accomplished. You hear? So that's why Ecclesiastes said there's a time and a season for everything. There's a time to be quiet and there's a time to speak up. So the narrative of the argument of everybody be wanting to make it about silence, just like I said, everybody have holes, mm, just like the forms of a penis. hmm So each hole on your body is something different that come out of it, right? All right, so follow me right there. You understand where we coming from, okay? So you entitled to your own opinion, but it can be the smell of either one of those because all them hoes have smells, and at times they really don't smell good. Okay? All right. So just so we make that clear, he was saying, which was a yeah a step way back for me. Even if I wanted to test the waters, it was way back for me. Cause I'm gonna make the statement. I'm gonna paint the picture real clear. I said it on here before. I'm gonna say it again. I don't give a care who I'm finna marry. My financial status, as long as I ain't doing nothing wrong, I ain't saying he can't know what I do and know nothing like that. But for him to be doing all these searches on me, talk about I need to know your credit score and all that, and you ain't even introduced yourself to me, honey. You ain't even found out if I'm interested in you, honey. I don't have nothing to hide. It's the point of how you start the thing with the boundaries. So I understand you. mm, Lord, I had to reel it in. Status folks. We just put it that way. Because y'all like to be so high and mighty. But I'm going to tell you what you can do with your status. So I understand all the black and white, the gray area, the preliminaries, honey. Even with the little, I ain't even got no problem with the, what that is, prenup thing. But when you go trying to dig all up in my business or whatever, and you ain't even sure if you want to come this way. You hear me? You cross the line. That's for you and your family. I'm gonna make that very goddamn plain. And I'm not afraid to tell you to your goddamn face. Because one thing about me, that's where I've been in life. That's why I say some of y'all men don't understand just how y'all trigger people. When you're trying to pull them in, but yet you talk about what's off putting about women, but you never take time to really learn them and understand them before you approach them with your societal bull crap. That's crossing the line. That's just period. Now maybe Miss Sassy wanna be classy and just wanna come in there for your money and all that. Maybe she okay with that. But I'm not every woman, I'm me. Period. So I don't expect for you to come in and try to woo me and date me as you dated your past, your mother, and her opinion of me and what I like and what I don't like are based off what she likes. I don't care. I don't care if you got a woman for a best friend, a so called. Y'all do that too. Come to me. Find out what I like. Because it's a dangerous line to walk that you bring another woman to another woman. hmm Disguising the way that you treating her. That's fake. That's a turn off. And that's not good. Don't think that we can't pick up things, that we can't feel things that's accompanying you in your behaviors, the way you speak, your mannerisms, the in the your affection, in your whatever. If you giving me affection and your mind start wandering off and you thinking about another woman or you thinking about something else to now, maybe your mind at work. I'm gonna pick up on all that. I'm picking up on all that. Believe me, because I'm gonna watch you and study you enough to learn you, your actions, your moves, what makes you tick, what makes you laugh, what makes you smile. I want to know how you feel about certain things, what accompanies this and that outside of your money, outside of who you. I want to know you. So I ain't getting to know your money. So I don't feel that that should be a pressure on my behalf that you know every dime that I have. That's just it. Now you have your own opinion about that and your own feelings. You might not agree with that. You don't have to. But again, I say I am me. And that ain't gonna change. Now, to drink it home, that does not mean we don't share financial stuff or whatever. That is not what I say. I'm talking about with this controlling societal view and opinion that men have based um, when it came to women and what they do, their financial bracket and situations and whatever when they, this is more along. This is mostly like celebrities, famous people think, and I understand all that. Like I said, I, I don't like the word, but I'm there, past there, okay, mentally, everything, maturely, everything. I'm there, but you cross the line for me because for number one, I've said it over and over again. I don't like to feel like somebody's trying to control me. And that states to me more than you call yourself trying to protect yourself to your investment for as a relationship is concerned. That you just bypassed me when it was just as easy to come to me and say, baby, these are things you might not know everything and how this works. So what I have accompany me, we have family business, we have all of that, whatever. That's no problem with me. Not at all. See, it ain't what you do. There it is, grandmama them. Thank you, baby. But it's how you do it. Now we making sense. Because that's just like me. You come in the house and you put your wallet down, your phone down. You may not have nothing to hide at all. But as soon as you go jump in the shower, and maybe we got a camera in the house or something, or maybe you just want to make sure, everything is good and crafty. And you see me sitting up here as soon as you come in the door every day. Maybe the first time you don't say nothing, but you that really because you don't maybe you don't want us to, separate or whatever, but you really don't like that. What I don't expect for you to sit up there and be quiet about that because that would be interfering. That would be intrusion. That's like somebody breaking into your goddamn house. You never get over that. That is a violation. When it's just as simple, we can sit down and have a conversation, and I could come to you and say, "Well, babe, I don't have trust issues or whatever, but I want to make this, you know, plain to where we are, our status of our relationship, and whatever." And maybe she's testing you. Maybe, you know, that's something that you would like for both of you to do. And y'all come together. We can trade phones. I don't have no problem with that. There's no exes and all these other things and all these other things. There, I don't have a problem with that. But at the point that she feels like when you come in or when your back is turned, she got to search all your personal possessions, your wallet and your phone, and she's calling psychics about you in the bathroom when you go to work and why you stayed in the bathroom too long. Then, and I'm just speaking all the way broad, what's going on in the world right now. When you feel violated, when you feel emotional discomfort in that you're trying to establish something real with somebody, something based off, and they done did all this talking about, they healed and they this and that, and opened up, and y'all at that point or whatever. But and then especially if you approach the situation and y'all talk about that and you let them know that I don't like that. We about to move in together, whatever the case may be. Here's my boundaries. Here are things that I don't like. Let's see if we compatible in those areas. Maybe he don't like that goddamn squishy thing. What is that? Hanging on the bathroom knob thing that's on the shower. You know what I mean? So That's fixable. That's fixable. Yeah, maybe she don't like to see a bunch of toothpaste drops from your toothbrush all over the sink, and you just haul tail and go to work smelling all good and everything, and you just okay, you go there, you just clean it up. Lord help me, Jesus on the Jesus on the Jesus on the Jesus. Child will call you and take pull your shirt until you come right back here. Let me stop playing. You be like, what did I hook on? I can't get hooked on a coat where I can pull you by that collar. You need to what? I'm just playing some stuff to get on somebody's nerves for real though, right? But it is it is something to really you come together with somebody before you even meet that person to see if that is it's a lot of things. I must say that, becoming 40, it gave me a lot to a lot of research for life. Um to find certain reserves to keep my flame burning, to keep my lifeline, and to keep my peace, you know, and to understand that it does not have to work. It's one thing to compromise, but it does not have to work for everybody. But it definitely needs to work for me when it comes to my heart, when it comes to my space, when it comes to my mental, when it comes to how I'm feeling on a daily day basis. I no longer am trying to maintain the stability emotionally, physically, and all of that for um, a spouse. They have to take charge of their own life. And I contribute to that as us being one, in oneness as a whole, that our safety when it comes to one another and us being in that relationship, you know. But it's your responsibility as well for me to make sure that you're not trying to fix me and I'm not trying to fix you, and that we have that understanding. I don't need to yell you into or manipulate you into doing or understanding my point of view where we can very well just discuss, talk, communicate what it is, that it's not a remaining balance, you know, that we still trying to catch up with and instead of building interest. You understand what I mean? In the emotional standpoints of the relationship because we have not settled the debt, which would be misplaced anger, misplaced emotions. And what I seen with a lot of men, more than none now, they sound very good on the internet, but there's a lot of hidden, misplaced anger and emotions that they carry. And they are themselves finding the internet, the social medias as a way to release what they've been holding for a long time, but inside trying to sound accurate and sound like what somebody else want to hear or to get the views and all that, they somehow are missing the vital parts of them that need to be dealt with. And the only other thing that's going to accompany that is another failed relationship. Because if you don't deal with it before you enter into another relationship, sir, Houston, we have a problem. You're going to face a problem. And usually it comes in the time when you're ready to let go, to expand, to be you, to grow, to be yourself. And the first part of that is going to be God is going to force you to deal with. what you buried. Ah, Jesus help me. God is going to force you to deal with what you've buried. I was sitting the other day and the Lord said to me, He said, the dead does not speak, but I have a profound way of delivering the message and avenging those that are no longer here and cannot speak for themselves. Good Jesus, Lord have mercy. Y'all heard that? So as he told, who was that? Which one of them? Was that Jacob and Esau? The one who killed his brother? He said, your brother's blood cries from the ground. That's what he was telling me. He said many people think that that's the dead, but it contains life. It contains life. And when that spirit goes back to God, everything that entails that person's life, even though they don't know anything, God knows what happened. He saw the transgression. So people are always trying to make things be, oh, that's the dead is saying, the dead is saying, the dead ain't saying nothing. So when we read in the Bible, even where Samuel and Saul them was concerned, so the understanding of what spirit that he was trying to get and conjure up and all that, and that's why they trespassed when it came to God. Well, he very well, because I learned from what God has been showing me all these years, seeing my granddaddy a prayer in the room after a man had them put his hands on me. And we both run out the house, and there is literally like a dog, looked like a wolf. No, I mean not one car, not one. And it was dark. Everything was silent. When he did what he did, and we both saw it. The He was trying to apologize to me. We were sitting on the bed. God heaven knows. And I had a picture over my bed, the head over the headboard on the bed. When he came to sit next to me on the bed and put his arms around me, that picture came down and hit him right on his head. Boom. We both, because we was like, oh my God. But when this altercation took place, it was something that it just took place in me that it was a feeling that was unexplainable. And from that day, I couldn't pursue love with him at all. He was my first child's dad, but I couldn't, yeah, mm-mm, no, it didn't matter about engagement or ring or anything. I couldn't. And I said that, and it made him mad. And he decided he wanted to put his hands on me. Um, we had vacation. My grandma let him back in the house. He came to sit by the bed because he wanted to apologize to me, say he'll never do it again. Da, da, da. Uh, for my part, there was no understanding. So, yeah, that was a done deal. But my grandfather, the image of my grandfather, appeared in the corner of that room, and that picture hit that man on the back of the head. We both flew out the room, ran all the way out the door, and both of us was met with this animal in the middle of the street. The bark that came from that dog, which looked like a freaking wolf. No cars, not one. And that was after we stayed on the street, a street where they have to come through to get. I mean, nothing, you guys, nothing. And that dog, and I was sitting there, I literally started shaking. And we both just looking at each other like, what in the world did we just see? And it's like the animal had a message, a very stern one. It was so intense. So I was like, Grandma, Grandma. So my grandmama had her own version of what that was, the same or whatever. But God gave me a revelation to what was happening and what I witnessed, what I saw. But I mean, God did not like, and I believe it took me a long time to see it. That is why he suffered what he suffered through his life. And I actually grieved for him to get better, prayed for him the first time that he would not pass. And God spared his life. The last time, God heard him at that court date. He said, I'd rather die before paying her 30 something years by child support. She lived better than me. That day, I was at my daughter's house when she showed me how to do the Zoom court thing. And I couldn't understand it, but I just started weeping in court. I couldn't stop it. I didn't know where it came from, no nothing. But I was sitting there because it was so much going through my mind. All I was just saying is, God, I just want this to be over. This man is never going to pay 30 years in back child support. He almost knocked him on death's door anyway. I mean, he gets drunk to the point of incapacitation every day of his life. He's not, after the military, he's never been the same. He's never been the same after 20 something years old in the military. He's never been the same. And I just watched him through the years. His life just dwindled. And the more and more, and I couldn't understand it because anybody else looked like I would pray for, they would get better. But it was something about him. So I found that all the years he was doing all those stuff, trying to put witchcraft on me. He put a gun to my head. Was going to say he was going to kill me, the baby, and kill himself. Um, he would chase me in his car, and we would fight in the middle of a big old football field. We was fighting. I'm 5 foot. He was uh 6 something foot tall. Uh, a husky guy. Yeah, yeah, he was. But I was a warrior, and I was seeing my mother be abused by her men, friend, whatever, child. Um, I always said that I would never let a man put his hands on me and either live to tell about it or either didn't have a story to tell about it because he gonna know I've been there. I let him know to back up off me. So God quickly um made sure that that was something, a cycle that was broken off of me when it came to violent relationships and things like that. Um, Pretty much after that, I didn't have to worry about that scenario of situations with the men that I met. But what I learned that we don't see, and I'm just talking to y'all. This is not, just opening this to y'all. Um, it's not about views or anything. We don't understand, and I really have this desire to open a space for young people, um, like a brutally honest for like teens and up, in their adolescent years on up to young adults, like 25, some of that. Because by the time you get 40, there's a whole lot of things that take shape in your world to bring an awareness of your life. 25, 30. I wouldn't say when I was 35, I would say when I was 40. It brought a whole new depth, enlightenment, and opened my eyes to a lot of things. Each of those stages were defining factors in my life that I saw. Those are the stages of our growth where there's like a rewind. At 25, yeah, but something struck at 30. Like you nailing something in the wall, and you just hit that first little tap in the wall. Then about 30, between 35 and 40, got to 40. hmm It was like one big, how that one big hit, and that nail go in that wall. It stuck. So, you ready to hang that picture? That's called testimony. And God designed and placed things in our lives for different ways, for different purposes of wisdom and experience. Um, and the determining factor is what we learn from these things that we understand as lessons, right? But at those stages, you will see that a whole lot of companies, you don't think the same. Sometimes your appetite changes. You don't want the same things. You don't desire. You don't have the same appetite. So your taste in men, women, um, your taste in clothing, your taste in foods, you're just like that taste bud that changes. You want to try different things. You want to, but you move more strategic the older you get. I want to say that. It's not necessarily that you don't move that way when you're younger, because I did. However, we still have to mature in that place. So once you become of age and you grow into that stage of this level of maturity, it prompts a greater you, a greater aspect, a greater desire, and a greater process in company accompanies it. And it's like rewinding school, and you have to test out in 12th grade of all you know to get to college. You see what I mean? So it jilts us because we are peculiar people. We are very peculiar. When we don't take that time during your single season to come in alignment with self, oneness with self, oneness with God, that way you can establish along the lines of the healthy boundaries, um, and not so much as worldly. I don't want to say dictatorship, but worldly wisdom, or whatever they call it. You know, because the more I've been seeing it across the internet and stuff, I can see why we've had so much trouble maintaining such relationships. Because once we are taught these things, especially by parents, and um, not nothing on parents, so don't go there because it's every one of us. But we need to understand too, not all the time, just because there's some people have downright determined some factors with children and stuff, and saying that you shouldn't be with that person, and I hate that person, and I want this person for you, and da 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 da, and the child don't rebel, and it can work for or against you. But in so many cases, there are parents, because of their own fears, because of their own, and for example, I'm gonna just put it in this scenario because y'all think that somehow we know what I be talking about. Take a girl meets a man just freshly of their years of starting life. The man meets her and she becomes his first love. He's already established life with her. And he then finds that after a year or two, a year or so, I believe, um, they are now fixing to welcome a child into the world. So now he introduces mom and the important women in his life: mom, aunt, grandmother. Well, grandmother was very wise and it accompanied. If you like it, I love it. Your mom, your aunt, nor I. This that would be the wisdom of the grandmother. Do not have to live with it or sleep with it. And as far as you becoming a father and the wisdom of that, my only question is, are you going to make her an honest woman? So mom has to travel from a different city, state, and she's hearing by and by what people think they know about the young lady that this young man has met and now is about to welcome a child with. She's met with the friction of those other than the grandmother of judgment because she had previous children. The first thing the mama said, Miss Judgment, is that she trapped you. The mama even didn't even get the clear understanding of the name of the person before she went into immediate battlefield judgment about that's what that must have had to happen. That had to happen. You know, she had children. She was in a project apartment for 4 months when he met her. So that just had to be. But the judgment that came from the mama was an unjust judgment, being the girl he met was never raised in the projects, but she was, even from New York to where she and her husband and him ended up jumping up, leaving her and going marrying, having children, and treating them better than he treated her and her son. Now you see. So finally, upon the way, well, let me get through that first. The sisters establish, you know, this is what I want for my son, and uh, the aunt will stand proxy in the middle of everything to say, well, I'm trying to be fair about it. I don't know, but I'm gonna get next to my neighbor because her and my neighbor are friends, and let me see what I can get the friend to say about her. Go back and misinterpret what the friend supposed to have been said, and da da da. So the young lady with the wisdom goes to the people who's putting this false narrative about her out here and says, well, everybody got seems to have the know about me and whatever, but nobody seems to know how to confront me face to face, so I might as well bring it face to face so we can clear the air of what's really happening. Since regardless, we gonna be family because I'm not killing my baby. That's just period. So him being an attention, WHORE, and the basis of the auntie was awaiting some a long awaited from the military money. So he had his stakes in the ground because he knew that what would accompany, and he would have to stay in good graces with them in order for him to maintain and accompany where she was sick at the point. So all know at some point she was gonna pass away. They just didn't know when. So the wisdom of the grandmother who took favor in this young lady because she said she reminded her of her. And she had 9 heads of kids that lived but 13 altogether. And she told her that she was always judged by her family. And when she would be coming up the street, you could hear them say, "There go, you know what?" And ironically, our grandmothers had the same name. Um, said that there's her name with them, all them kids. Okay? And the first thing happened when the young lady found out she was pregnant. She called him and said, "We need to talk." After he had got off of, he had permission um, to leave the base, that we could go and we could talk because he needed to know what was taking place, what was happening. So I said, "We're going to go and get two pregnancy tests. You're going to come right here with me in the bathroom, and we're going to take these pregnancy tests and view the status right here together." So here the mama still going on. Oh, she is evil. Oh, she this. Now she died. I wanted you to marry a doctor or a lawyer. Show me that at 18, 19 years old. But anyway, it's possible, but it wasn't for us. So they're described. Everybody have their own life and what they gonna come through. And some things, yes. So if it was God plan, that was God plan. Irreversible. So now we just have to face what's at hand. That's the way she always understood as a wise young lady. So we have to move from here. I'm not with with the bickering and fighting and all that kind of stuff. That, mm-mm. And I don't disrespect people, parents and things like that. But if you push me and your son won't set you straight, I won't disrespect you, but I will surely put you in your place. And you best believe it. And whoever in your family want to fight, Christian and prophetess and all, the battlefield is waiting. So families need to understand. You need to learn how to put your sword down. Because for somebody to come in just as innocent when you didn't know that was actually accompanying what your son was doing, but they always put the blame on the girl. It's her. It's her. Were you there when they said, "I want you to have my baby"? Were you there when he said he didn't want to wear a condom? Just saying. They still gotta bear whatever they, but this is the reality of what takes place. So at this point you taking sides ain't doing you no good, him no good, him no good either, because this is the environment you finna bring a child into. And it makes it unfair for that child. So my focus has never been to be attached to my baby daddies like that. It's just period. I was always so headstrong to the point that it's what I see my mom go through and things like that. The way my grandmother raised me. Um, although we were engaged, oh yeah, both of it. Although we were engaged, it still did not change the fact that I have enough sense to understand, was this going to be a lasting, a long term, where marriage was concerned? And I gave enough room and time to grow and understanding that we both was still young at heart, we were still young in essence, as far as age was concerned, and all of that. And the last thing I wanted is to be hearing all that, that's what goes on. Oh, they was too young and you trapped them and da da da. He never grew up and da da. Well, he 40 something now and he still ain't grown up. So now what's the excuse? That part. So now what's the excuse? So we ain't gonna discuss the part or the portion that she played in the role in his life and the accompanied the reasons why he thought he was doing some of the things he was doing. You see what I mean? But nevertheless, um, the discussion after us finding out he had big old goofy smile planted on his face. and you know, like what was that man name? Remember the old school man he used to have that cigar in his mouth and he used to smoke them cigars. He used to be on the he's like a comedian or something. And he used to wear glasses. He was an older man. What is that man name? um, like with the Carol Burnett them show and stuff like that. I forgot what that man name. Oh, I forgot that cat name. He was a white man, and he had like silver or salt and pepper hair. He had his own little comedy shows that he would um say funny stuff and stuff like that. But he always had that cigar. It was that cigar. But anyway, he had this big goofy smile. Um, and I watched him throughout the time, and I was very strategic with him because I didn't to want him to be scorned. I thought more about him not being hurt and him not being ran over and did wrong because I had the opportunity to drag him if I wanted to. So the whole thing, he proposed to me right there after meeting his mom and his aunt. She came from out of state. Um, and I said to him, you don't have to be with me because just as I took care of them other kids, I'm gonna take care of this one. And I told him that he would have to make his own decisions. But as for me and mine, it's gonna be taken care of. He hit them knees right there when I was about to step up on the sidewalk in the streets of where we live in front of my apartment. And he said, please don't leave me. Their opinion is not what I feel. Give me the opportunity to show you and to prove to you that I am better than my father. So I understood why God said to me not to break his heart when we met because seeing things that my mama did, I was on the borderline of that, honey. And he would be hitting off from that military base, honey. He'd be at me. And my grandmama called one day and she was like, girl, that boy done been here about 3 times. He looking for you. He been riding around here. And that's when the Lord spoke to me. Because little did he know I did. I sure did. I thought he was slow. He really wasn't, rough around the edges like I usually like them or whatever. And I didn't think he was for real at first. I didn't. That was before the baby came into the play. Um, I just was like, okay. But when we met, it was actually at the time that I cut all with the previous babies that because we was on our way to get married. And remember I told y'all about the dog thing that happened to me? how God answered my question. Was it for me to marry him? And God told me that I would regret it if I married him. So I had just left. He was still there with his aunt them at the engagement party. And this dog, because I was on my way down the street to my grandmother's, and I was going to get, I think, a change of clothes and come back up the street to our engagement party. And I'm walking down the street, and I just start talking to God. And I said, Lord, if he is not the right one, give me a sign. I need you to verbally tell me and let me know that I don't make a mistake because I don't want to be married more than one time. And I got halfway down the street, y'all, and this dog viciously comes up on me. And I remember it was something I saw on TV, and I said to my grandmother, and my grandmother told me if that happened to me, how to respond. So when the dog came up on me, ooh, you talk about oh my God. That dog was so vicious at me, y'all. He was standing there barking at me like that. And I just knew I was big, y'all. I just knew how that dog would go eat me up. And I mean, he was just like inches away from me. He was studying like he was gonna lunge. He was gonna lunge. And I was like, oh my God. But I just kept, it was just something like God gave me. He just gave me a calm. And he said to me, look in his eyes. When I looked in that dog's eyes, he did like three more barks, y'all. So intensified. And he just bowed his head down and he turned away and ran off. And I was like, oh my God. And the Lord said, here's your answer. If you marry him, you're going to regret it. He going to have a baby on you. He's going to cheat. And it's going to end in divorce. So I went to walking down the street. I don't know who crying, but baby, God bless you. And I'm sending you all the love because I'm over here tearing up. I don't know why, because I don't have no, I don't know. God just did a miracle for me that I don't have. I don't know what it was like being intimate with my children's father. I don't remember what any of that was. When God severed the ties between me and them, and this is something I never hear people talk about, ever. But I don't have no residue of bitterness, unforgiveness, the memories of us having intercourse or anything. None of that. None. And I tell God, thank you. But it was something that I understand now that God was teaching me and has been teaching me for a long time the art of detachment and how it can keep you from experiencing life and really becoming who you are, being attached to people with all these different attachments to them. We don't need to name them all because we understand what they are, right? Um, and the day I understood that and God showed me that, it freed me. I was no longer bound to previous relationships by way of having children from them, keeping me from moving forward with someone else by feeling sorry for them because they're not ready to let go or any of that thing. Uh-uh. Free indeed is she. Yes. Um. So let me hurry up. So as it went on and on with this situation, he commits himself in a way to make her understand that I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. So I put him through a series of tests just to see if he had really grown to the capacity of the man that he was trying to persuade me that he was. Was he really in love with me like he said he was? So there would be times that we would get into um, disagreements and stuff like that, or he may repeat something that his mama or aunt said, or something like that, and I walk away and I leave him just to see what he, where his mind was, what he would do. So I started seeing as the more we grew with each other, I started to learn that he had a unhealthy attachment to me. I started to see it. It would come out in his actions that he would feel like that he would have to act out to make himself look foolish or some kind of way to make himself feel ashamed or something to make me say, okay, okay, I won't leave or whatever the case may be. I didn't like where that was going. And I sought out to help him grow as a man, to show him that he didn't have to do these things as a man to prove anything to a woman. And through our young adult years, um, that was the goal and the strategy of dealing with him. Because what I very well started to understand that because of what was going on with his mom and dad, he does not like to be left. And his dad waited till he was there, graduated, and he halted military life. Um, he retired from the military. He made something out of himself. Um, and he carried this very heavy in his heart because he didn't make it to where the status that his dad did, and he wanted to prove to his father. And people couldn't understand our relationship, but God had me there to be a healing, and he missed it by listening at his mother and other people and wanting to be noticed by everybody else instead of the woman that he was with. So he found it better to hide himself and what he feel, and that's why I tested him like that because he was always trying to do the military tactic of the friends and all of that. Well, if you treat her this way, then she'll run after you. Da, 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 da. That didn't work with me. So he felt like if I shut off this part of me, but I still show her, but I could tell anytime he thought that I was trying to talk, go and talk to somebody else, let somebody else in. And all of his actions show up. He show up at the house. And he standing by the bedroom window to see if I'm doing something with somebody else. And following the person he know that in a relationship with car and stuff like that. So I saw a lot of things which this would be a lot of people probably about to hit their knees right now because these are the things that he wasn't telling people. But my best friend seen it. It was neighbors that saw it that was about to call the police on me. People that would come to my house and say, I don't know who that man is with the glasses that be coming to you. Oh, Jesus, that be coming to your house. But and I said, you mean my children's father? And they was like, well, him. Um, he'd be standing by your window at night trying to see if you would know somebody else and stuff like that. So one night he calls me and he says he's behind this guy that I decided finally after all those years of being by myself that I was gonna give a chance and I was gonna date. He took it to the max. He was this is one man that really, oh Lord, I don't know, but it just the mere mention of his name, it was something about their weight, being slender men and hair on their head and whatever. It just took him to the max. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is wrong with you? But he was free to do what he wanted to. I made that very plain. We don't, it's just our daughter, you know? So we kind of made a pact with each other about that whole thing because I didn't want to be dating different people and stuff like that. And I knew how he was and whatever. He would always try to, even if he wasn't in a relationship or talking to nobody, that was always him trying to protect himself. And many people don't understand that. He did a lot of lying, really did, and pretending. He spent most of his life trying to see where it was going to go with me and somebody else. He found a safe ground when he knew that I wasn't rushing to marry nobody. And I was also in church. So he wasn't really worried about that until this one little faithful thing came along. Then it shook him right there because it went to the marriage. That's when the mama took it to the next level. Baby, she wanted to come to the state, and well, she was already at the state because they was all in the car together. And all that bad talking he was doing and all that, whatever, it all came out because I tested him just before I was getting ready to marry the man. I tested him just to see, should I make this official and really make sure the doors closed for his opportunity to ever become my husband. I already know that God had told me he was gonna send me another husband. That was just period. So and it was both of us. We sitting there, and I called him, and I had told him before I made the decision, the final decision, that because of the kids and all that, we need to talk, and this is the decision that I have made. And that boy went to pieces, and he was trying to hold it, but he jumped out. They said, even his aunt said the same thing. He jumped out the car, and he went to yelling, "That's my family. That's supposed to be my family." You men, seriously. And you can't say that's unfair because he had 20 plus years to get this right. So you mean to tell me God didn't give him enough time to grow up and grow into the man and he kept this and that, and you want her to keep her? That's selfish for you to be sitting anywhere praying that God will keep somebody single when you know you ain't trying to do right. For what? And you want to be slow and you want to keep playing the field and all that kind of stuff. Just like when people die and go home to be with the Lord, y'all want to try to keep them here. Let them be free. So I had to learn. I learned to the place, no, I'm not waiting on your approval to do nothing. I'm going to be free. And I'm going to be okay when I walk away too. Now you deal with what's at hand. That would be you. Because when I know I gave it more than it deserved and I gave it all, when I walk away, I'm completely okay. Hands up in the air, clean cut. Because I know me and I know what you lost. And it ain't had nothing to do with big head, but I know what I it's hard to find. It's rare. And everyone that I came across, I said, if you mess it up with me, you don't need nobody. You really are a shabby man. Because I'm very simple. I don't ask a man to buy me big mansions and big this and big maybe I should. I don't think I should. Because if a man loves you, you shouldn't have to ask him to do none of that. He'll do it, accompanying the way he feels about you as his spouse or whatever the case may be. That's period. But throughout the process, he was so stingy. That's why I could never see myself marrying him. He was so stingy to the point. I mean, even when I first had baby girl, it was he would cry about buying diapers. At that point, case of diapers like $10, $11. And it's like, bro, Are you serious? We move in together. You want to be all at the club with the homies from the base and all this kind of stuff and car meets and all that. Come home 7 months pregnant. You come in here bringing $1 Tupperware. And I'm telling you, the light bill need to be paid. You go off crying because you don't know how to get the money. Well, you need to go out there to the truck stop or whatever the thing is. The people say how you do day work so we can get this bill paid. So he dropped the ball and left everything on me, but he was still following me around and smelling my butt. But she over there, oh, I'm the curse like, I'm the this and I'm the that. When I'm the one holding the bag, it took him a minute to get on his feet after he got out the military. I mean, a minute. It wasn't overnight. I encouraged him to to go ahead and take this time to go to college. I encouraged him on every level as a woman. This boy had everything in front of him. I didn't leave our baby. I took care of our baby. She done grown and she get degrees and all that. But he still always finds he complained that my baby wasn't light enough, y'all. He made my baby feel like she was too dark. Even now when she make her pictures darker than what she really is. I have hair all the way down my back. Well, she does too, but she got them white folks hair like him. And I just said like that, y'all being funny because they not white. But his dad, I don't know. His dad's supposed to be French, white, something like that, child. And he got, I mean, the man got a ponytail way down his back. Yes, he do. And my baby daddy had he got a bald head. He had to receive that line. But his daddy got a head for the hair, y'all. And he looked just like a white man. Most definitely do. And she didn't get her color just because of me or whatever the case may be. Because even though his daddy is that color and his mama kind of on the light skin, well, yeah, she on the fair skin side too. She's a beautiful woman. Um, she just always sought to find fault with me. I didn't have fault with her. She just always and and it wasn't just him. She got into her other children business too, but they just know how to keep her out of it. Just like I said, he had an agenda. And that agenda, as we were talking, and he said what he said, it made me see that he wasn't willing to grow in life. We had a conversation that was in telling, because my grandmother had talked to him and told him that she's just not some broad that you picked up. When I leave him, I'll make sure my baby's okay. I have property in Georgia. I'm gonna make sure she's established and I leave her money. It's people that try to steal these things from me. No, wasn't nothing about me, poor baby. Um, and me and him was talking. And when I said just before his aunt had passed, I had said to him, I said, well, auntie getting all these properties, and then now your mom then came down here and got property and all that kind of stuff. And where he finally got his house and stuff, and we was on. Don't start that yarn and stuff. Get on off. We was on um in two different houses. I had my house, he had his house, and I was just telling him, I was like, why don't you think about you know real estate and stuff like that? Because even if you don't want to stay in that particular house no more, or whatever, he always kept things so nice and stuff like that. His house and stuff. Um, and stuff. Just tossing some ideas to him because he one of them stuck people. He been doing the same thing for the same 40 years. Whatever they did in New York, he's still doing it now. Same people, same old. And that was not that's not what I wanted. I watched him through all the years. And I watch he never changed. And it's just like you almost like Sanford and Son. Hey, kind of remind me of Sanford and Son. And I just wanted more. I just wanted more. People, all this stuff, they be thinking, oh no, and he said no, 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 it wasn't. Natalie been gone. I told you that prayer that I prayed from years ago, and when the Lord just let us make it through, to baby girl hit that stage, walk off that stage. It was on the popping. It was over, and I meant that. Whatever we did after that, that was me. When I got ready for him to be around, or whatever the case may be, because we didn't leave enemies. We was still, and I still don't have no bad blood with him. I just choose not to be involved or be around. I don't want that stuff in my atmosphere, especially accompanying a new husband and stuff like that. Of course, I don't want that. So, and that was the season where God said it's time for you to cut off all of that. Even um, the Mr. J guy, you know, and it was good at some point, having somebody to talk to outside of children and stuff like that. Um, I don't have to have sexual activities with people. And any man around me knows those boundaries and they know better. I will, anyway, they know better than to cross those boundaries. But the last person that I ended up having to cut off, and it really did because I know he lost his mom and I tried to be there for him. But that's what God said, this is what I'm breaking you away from. These people need to grow. You have took the battle for them too long. Your children's father, your family, your friends, all of that. Drop the weight. Cut it. Let it go. Let them figure it out. You're not responsible for carrying these folks. Don't judge me because some of y'all right there too and done been there. See there? Confirmation. So that's the testimony. And once I did that, I was free as can be. Just free. Just free. No, don't care. I was glad when all my children turned 18. I ain't got to worry about what nobody mama say, thinking, and no none of that. Free. So I'm not going into another space in my life that I'm going to be pinned down to somebody else's narrative, false narratives of me, and their thoughts accompanying what I do for work or anything else. Because I could be doing way worse. I could be a stripper. I could be anything worse than what I am. And I fought to get here. I fought to become her and be valued eternally to myself and be the woman of God that I am. So I refuse to bow to them devil in anybody's family or their money. That's period. If you love me, that's what I mean by show up. Don't come playing no games with me and scam accounts and all that. Approach me. If you have to do it that way, then at least drop me to let me know I can catch you. If it ain't nothing but answer me, a check or something. This I understand that there's disconnecting this, and I understand. But I'm not gonna put myself in jeopardy answering some fake got there an account where all of these scammers. I done been through that. And see, that is my thing. That's what I'm sick of. These people coming with these false preach false faces and preach. I ain't got time for that. Mm-mm. So I know all these things in life or whatever, but it's ways for you to connect. It's so many ways. God darn, send a telegram. You've been watching me this long. You've been all in my accounts, and you know how to find me anytime I open up a new account or something like that. Well, God darn it, it ain't that God darn hard. I'm sure you done been through the DMV just like everybody else, trying to figure out my darn address. Well, use it. Tell your brother, tell a bum to go send it off for you. As long as it get to the address, I don't know. Send anonymous flower to the door. I mean, it's strategic, and I'm not being rude. I'm just saying this is what I mean by maturity and and it's good, the flirtation of it, the whatever. But when you put somebody in suspense for so long and you plan out a narrative that you accommodate with you knowing the ins and the outs and you've observed this person or whatever, you're like Casper the ghost. If a ghost appear to you, it's gonna scare you. So to find a way to introduce yourself without it being a complicated situation, because it is already I made it complicated. Because if somebody come up on you, you say, "Oh my goodness, that's why I told you that basis of them folks is y'all be paying to tell you things. That's why you be messing yourself up. Because if you hear me saying they told you this and this gonna be this and that, and you hear me say what I'm saying, that's going to tell you it's dangerous because you don't know somebody else's mind. I don't give a goddamn how many times they pull nothing. So that's what I'm at. I don't want nobody coming into my life trying to take my power from me to make a decision on my own. Because even with God, I talk to him the same way. This is really, I want to be surprised, but it's really an unfair situation that you're putting me in. Because not only has he had to sacrifice, but he don't know what I've had to sacrifice, and I'm still sacrificing being in the place that I'm in. And for it to keep going on and on, I don't know how many years on his part, but I know for going on throughout 20 years, whether if it's that person or whoever, because my battle is not with the person. My understanding of the weight is all these things they haven't going having to go through with God. That's the reality of it. Not to say that I don't understand in the weight and the growth and all that and all that and all that and all that. But you have to understand that there's a other side that shouldn't be dismissed. That even when y'all come together, there's a healing that will take place because that's what God has been waiting to align with the both of you. Yeah, you might have been single for a while and all of that, and you finally found that's what you're looking for, whatever. But still, whether you know it or not, when you meet this person, and even though everything is good, you're going to see exactly what I'm saying. And it does not, don't take it wrong, it does not have to be a bad thing. But knowing that that's a part of the growth and the reason, the purpose of God putting us together is that y'all understand that that healing for that marriage, that relationship, it has to accompany. So with the different shifts and all that things, those things are going to take place. So I'm going to go ahead and get off. But like I said, the defining factor, and I was going to follow the young man. Uh, I was going to follow the young man on social media just for the sake of. But the whole time I've been looking, but I was saying to myself, I say, now there you go. I was like, you can't be just because you know the ins and outs of it, understand whatever. So don't be like that. Be open, but he also a black man, and I ain't being um ready for the world, Lord, ready for the world. Just my own preference. I don't seek to date um dark skinned men. Just put it that way. I'm just saying that culture of man. I'm not even into the whole gray hair men thing, beard thing, bob, whatever this old people stuff they got going on. I'm just not interested. There's no everybody have their own preference. And that's okay. There's no offense to anybody. I'm not into dreads. I'm not into people with tattoos all over their faces and all that kind of stuff. It's for me, and that's just being honest. It's weird. It weirds me out. People with those weight things in their ears, and they can do what they want to. I don't care. I'm just telling you. That's a big shift for me. That's and I just had to go into God and say, this is this. I need you to do this thing, God. I understand a tattoo. Some of they sleep. I mean, I'm not judging in that department like that, but I'm just saying that other stuff, yeah, uh, like the Birdman, all that money he has and the whole thing. I thought they looked. I don't know. It was strange, but looked cute together with Tony Braxton, and I would never. But that's because she had a long time to get to know him. But was it just a celebrity stunt, or was it just what I mean? So it's a lot that play on with it, y'all. It is. It's a lot. And you just have to be totally honest with yourself. And I'd rather be honest with a person up front than to have them getting their heart broken or being rejected or being, you understand me? Not saying that I won't give it a chance or a try. If God send a person like that, just say, Natalie, open up, give it a try. I'm not bullheaded like that. If God tell me that this is because they can change any of that. But I know even some of you folks that call yourself Christians and stuff, y'all don't go get that stuff off of y'all body. Y'all just think it's a statement being made. We ain't gonna get into all that, and that's y'all business. But just personally, I mean, hey, but as for me, because I believe what's more important is the inward part of a person. But even some men have. It's just a defining factor for them. This is why I draw the line. It is because I came across a lot of on even on, and they was just looking for hookups. But to hear a lot of them explain what they was looking for and the body types and all that kind of stuff, I don't put all those pressures on people. But I do know, as for me, along that line. It's not to say I won't date a man who has dreads, but it would not be preferable. Okay? And uh, some of these older guys, I'm just saying it like that. Some of the older guys that I see, they look more horny than anything. Is perverted. Like they don't come off as. And I know y'all, I hear y'all just wanting the fancy life. Y'all just wanting somebody to look good on your arm and all that. But it just, I know, it just makes a difference to me. It ain't got to make sense to you. It just got to make sense to me, you know? And that's just it, because I don't want nobody wasting their time. I don't even care what size the person is or nothing like that. But when it comes to going overboard with all of this stuff, the whole covering your face with tattoos and look like somebody put a black hole in your throat for a tattoo with the Jesus cross and all that, I just, no, 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 no. I can't. I can't. And I did. The last person that I did come across that I told you, the little crazy one, that was talking about follow me everywhere with the video camera and all that talking money. Look, but he was a very nice looking fellow. And finally, somebody who had some hair on his head. He had a whole lot of it. Dressed nice and everything. Did not meet him in person, but I talked to him long enough to get to know him. And he's very good. He was a little you know. Um, but he did. He said he had one space left on his body for a tattoo, and he was gonna put my name there. And I said, "You better not. You better not." He told his mama while we was on the phone. I said, "Oh no, 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 no." It was crazy, y'all. But I liked it, the little fella talking to him or whatever. But yeah, I seen some stuff, and I knew that if he wanted to, he could change or whatever. But I just see he had street life all over him, and he was not ready for where I'm at. Where I'm at, it's going to take somebody who's dedicated, not some on and off or wishy washy and can't. No, no, because what I do is very important, and I'm not willing to take down and make God an open shame just to be married to somebody. And be no, I'm not gonna do that. That don't mean that we're not gonna have fun and we're not gonna live our life. Whatever we gonna do that. Honey, y'all gonna see Sister Girl. Honey, I get a husband. You gonna see Sister Girl gonna have that baby suit on. She gonna wear it like a woman should, but baby, it's gonna keep his eyes. So all the false narratives y'all have going on that go out the window with that, honey. No, I'm gonna enjoy my husband. Oh, you best believe that. But everything don't have to be on social media and front street and all that stuff. That ain't nobody business. But baby, I'm gonna keep him going. Okay? Right on coming right on back to mama. Okay? And not his mama, this one. You will always be my boo, my boo. No, let me stop. But for real, I mean, it is a tricky situation because some of you say women out there, y'all been chalked up to that, and I don't blame some of these women out here. They let y'all know she ain't got to be in none clothes out here or whatever. And the man does, yeah, they don't be want to look at all that. They want something to look at. They been out there in that world, but you ain't got to be presented yourself out there like the world. And if you waiting on one, leave something to the imagination. And then if you really real about it, that's what they like. Yeah, they eyes be peekaboo and way open with all this stuff, y'all showing all your goods and all that kind of stuff. But the one usually what's going, yeah, eventually that's what's going to. But even with a man, I've had this reserve as well. Men think that that's the only thing where they're concerned, but sometimes I have found it as a turn off as well with some men to be just that nasty and just that let's put it this way, promiscuous. So what I thought things that I wanted to experience with my husband, that I would look at them and I drew back and I was like, mm-mm. Because all I see is these other women. You done did all this, just ugh. And you see these women, they ugh. Anyway, so you don't know what's in another person's mind. And if y'all know what I mean by and what I witnessed and what I see, what caused me to draw back, because some of these fellas, y'all be thinking that they just be leaving y'all for somebody who better than y'all and all that. And she be doing it with men and women and child, don't keep and washing and roaches and everything. That's oh, it gets disgusting. So if I spend all this time being abstinent, I want a clean fella. Okay? So those are my non-negotiables. I've asked God for that. And if he can't do nothing, I mean, Lord, I don't ask big, but I ask a small thing. You can't do that. At least that. Finally. Some old nasty joker always you got to be a goddamn what that thing is, to be on house arrest. Because he always around the corner. As soon as somebody blink their eyes, she over here with her nose draws, wearing stuff. You got to make sure he go to the bathroom and in there hunching her. Who wants that? Just nasty. So if you know you ain't gonna be able to hold it down, sir, you know you ain't gonna be able to. I mean, that should have been something that if your woman there, why you got to sneak around the corner and in the bathroom with another woman? Y'all could have explored that y'all self in the bathroom, whatever. Cause to each his own, however y'all get down. But this is what where people cross the line so many times. because they don't care about the next person. They selfish, like I said, like him. He was selfish. Anything that was where our daughter was concerned, it was always running his mama, running his auntie. Oh, jeez. Lord, y'all don't even want to understand when child support came along. And he had a baby mama that would go and pay the child support for him, keep him from having trouble with his license so he can get to work if he was going through a bad time. And he don't have to worry about going to jail or anything like that. And that's the thing. His mama blamed everything on moi. And I was always the one there saving him. I was always the one there to make sure he wasn't. But it was things that boy was out there doing. I wasn't focused on the streets. I was focusing on God and raising my children. Period. And still to the day, I could be running the street. I could have 4 or 5 million if I wanted. That's not my desire. That is not in me. So it presents a whole new narrative when you get online and you see all of these things. And it sound good when these things be leaving y'all lips, but some of y'all need to compete what y'all be doing. What he was telling his you know, don't be thinking uh bad by the ex-mother-in-law and all that. I'm just telling y'all because that's the testimony of what happened with us and stuff like that, and just showing what type of person I was and even at a young age, and what type of person he was, but he had to grow up. Now there was a whole nother part to him that I did not say, that he was protective over me in certain ways, that he just allowed other people to dictate our relationship, and it did not fan out well for him, and it caused him to do things. You see what I mean? And too many lies and all of that. And that is not something I was willing to tolerate and outgrow. Okay, you've been graced long enough. Wash your hands. Okay? So when you develop that material, that's what's called growing in maturity. What God does is He changes your desires. And many people don't understand that when it comes to relationships. Some of y'all think, oh, it's a and we be thrown off when somebody say, I'm just not in it no more. I just need to do something different. Then all the stuff blow. Y'all know how it go. All the stuff blow up. And all these things got to be. Why should a man have to lie to you and tell you he cheated when he didn't? Or why should a man have to come to you and make up some crazy stuff just to get out of a marriage? I mean, oh, why I said marriage? Ooh, somebody must have been going through that. I did not mean to say marriage, y'all. Oh my God, where did that come from? To get out of a relationship. If y'all not married, yeah, it's another meaning for marriage. Y'all keep that to yourself. But if y'all not married, he done left you up for grabs. And to be brutally honest with me, he's still up for grabs. Neither one of y'all are married. You're dating. He has not made that commitment. He's not engaged himself to you. He's not made you that promise of commitment. He has not took it to that level yet. You don't spend 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year. You see how them numbers count? And when you look around, you done been with a rascal who's still promising you, and they made now move towards. But if he's so not wanting to lose you, and you doing everything else with him, and God happening if the babies come along in it, why is it such a burden for him to marry you? That part. Well, that part is attached to my soul. And what I learned now, and thank you, Jesus, my soul is more valuable than a dingaling. That's period. So this ain't playing house. I'm above that stage. This ain't see me when I see you one night stand. No, none of that. and playing no games. I got somewhere to be, got somewhere to go, and I got a purpose and an agenda, and I'm out to do that. Now, either you gonna come for that and we're gonna get on board together and we gonna do that when it comes to each other, or we ain't doing this at all. That's period. That's called not wanting too much. Because truly, women, you never have asked for too much. You was with napperhead jokers who wasn't willing to accompany you or even cared enough about you to give you that. And that should have been your key to let go. So like I said, no, I ain't playing no games with nobody. And I ain't sugarcoating nothing. And now I'm at that place. Just my grandma taught me that years ago. I ain't just found that out. But I had to experience it on my own for me to know. Now I'm not concerned about hurting your feelings if you trying to break my heart. So he had his son. hmm, He was talking about a subject which was a very powerful subject. And it was true what he said. And I started to notice that the more I started to see his content, he would say God, but then he'll ease like he don't know which one to call God, the universe or God. So I kind of start to side it a little bit. So he do all his videos in his car leaned over. Oh no, y'all. But apparently he's supposed to be, I don't know if he's semi-famous or whatever. He big following there. I don't know. Or whatever. I ain't even looked that far. Believe me, I ain't even studied that far. But it was just the open, of it when I looked into to try to get save the narrative, the voice, the message that he had from the video chat. It wasn't nothing that deep, but upon doing that, it brought all of this stuff. And I was like, wow, it is amazing when you look. So I get it. I get it. When you watch from afar, make sure you're making the right decision. And that is somebody that you considering to date. But the whole crossing the line with what he said about going into their payment history, um, if most of y'all dated people according to a credit score anyway, anyway, I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'm just let y'all have it. But that stuff, it don't fly with me. It's yeah, it don't fly with me because if you did that without even considering how I would feel about it, and you just invade my privacy, some stranger, because at this point you would still be a stranger. Just be honest. I don't know you, even if I cross paths with you, I still don't know you. So I understand. I'm all for it. Do your research. But when you have a one-sided situation that you're doing your research and you finding all this stuff about somebody else, then you want to rush in and overpower them and leave them with little room to even, and they don't know you. If the shoe was on the other foot, how would you receive that? Not just, oh, I'm glad love is here. Oh, I'm glad that this is it and this is it. No, you would feel, if you honest, just like that you was side swiped or bombarded with something like bum rush, with something that even though your expectations and you knew that it was there. That's spiritually. But we're talking about spirit, physically, where two people are connecting and come together. And you had all this time to do your study and your research and all that. But you expect somebody to just, but the first thing y'all will say, you have to be realistic. Is that being realistic? You done had time to fall in love with that person if you want to. You've had time to figure out, you know, all those fine questions that we ask about each other. So you ready to go, which is good. And I'm just saying, keep in mind, even though it you know that you are a blessing and you are perfect joy when you two come face to face, but bear in mind that other person was in a vulnerable position, not by financially and none other, but the fact that you knew of them before they knew of you. So even with that, your expectations of the meeting is going to be way different. And if anything, then that, with especially with a lot of men, because that feels like rejection to them. And I did all this and all that, and you should be more like just let me say, for instance, the celebrity guy was saying, I don't say his name. I know I didn't have to sign anything and no none of that. Uh, he got off from everybody else while he was at work, and he called me through Instagram. Because he did want me to do a TV thing with him or whatever. And it was unexpected. He called me out of the blue on Instagram, and no, he got my he yes, yes. He got my information on Instagram, and he called my phone. So I'm looking down at the number, and I'm looking at the air code, and I'm like, "Now who is this? I don't know who that is." And son was asking, telling me, "Girl, you better answer that phone." But he couldn't. I think he was more like, wow, because fans and groupies, like, yeah, that's the difference. We in it for different reasons. If you want fans and groupies, you need to go find that somebody else, somewhere else. That ain't my portion. Um, but I was led to answer the phone, and when I answered the phone, oh surprise was I, because in a million years I would have never thought that he was calling me. So I didn't, because I wasn't looking at him as a potential partner or anything. We just was in the same field of what we do, far as talking to people spiritually and stuff like that or whatever. And he got down. He did. He got down. And he was a Latino rapper, whatever, singer, whatever. Um, and I think we talked for a good minute. I think he was driving back to wherever it is that he had to go, whatever the case may be. And I knew of him and all the other celebrities he was hanging out with and stuff like that. But it was something different. I knew, and it really, I think it did. It threw him for a loop. That my response upon him saying, because he said when I answered the phone, I think my voice threw him back. Number one, um, that it hit him like, oh my God, this is real. But I did kind of feel that he was hiding the fact that there was a little bit more interest in that phone call, and he wanted to see what it was really about because them evil people online, yeah, and they thought that I was into him. So the person that was trying to pursue me that I rejected with all them goddamn kids and dreads, the muscle man, and he was a goddamn con artist and a polygamist. What you say? You got a nerve to get mad because somebody rejected you. I ain't reject you. I just say I'm not interested. Shoot. Then the Lord tell me you're married and found out. I go and say, and he say, well, yeah, I've been married a couple of times. I said, who, what? A beeper, the beeper, a beeper, the beeper, a beeper, the bap. Oh, y'all. A beepity bitty, a beepity bitty. What was that? Star Wars or something? Um, but I couldn't get it, y'all. I couldn't get the whole thing about it. So he had to then paid some people off and devised the plan that, anybody you see in her comments, and then he paid people to say they wanna work with me and stuff like that. This is what I'm talking about. These are grown men out here playing these types of games, stealing my photos and making them into something else, trying to make people think he had to met me before. That you, I was out the door at the moment you told me you had 7 kids, bro. Seriously, talk to you. Hey, how you doing? Let's talk about God and laugh. Is it? Where in the world did you get this false narrative that you present around him? So I say he didn't see it coming, but when the time of the apple show, let it out. So he went to texting all these people that was in the comments and stuff like that that he thought was liking me or whatever, and trying to turn it into a conspiracy. Found out the wife had knowledge of what he was doing. And oh, she agreed that, he can bring me on board until she found out he had done fell in love with some stranger. And she didn't want that, boo. So now I'm in warfare that I don't even know nothing about because this old straggler demon and his wife out here pulling women into their polygamous church thingy, baba dingy, whatever it's called. And I'm strange to all of that because I ain't know nothing about all that. And then the Lord was telling me, and that's why they was getting mad because I didn't know what the Lord was saying, but I was just releasing what God said. And then people start getting mad and all this stuff, and then people start telling me that's because hey, you gonna see, you gonna to give me a little hint saying that this is who you talking about. So God said, go down in there. I want you to see. And you'll see on his finger that he forgot one of his pictures. He got a ring on his finger. And it's the ring that God showed me, the man with the ring. It rang on his finger in a vision, in my dream. When he reached out to me, and I said, I want to tell you something, but I want to ask you something about this dream, this vision that I had. And I went to describing what I saw. Y'all think God's something to play with, baby. He ain't nothing to play with. People be trying to pull a sneaker on you. Let me tell you. When I tell you God will honor you, yes, He will. Let me tell y'all this, and let me get off here. He finally, not the celebrity guy, this one here was faking it till he make it. He even went all the way to Las Vegas to try to pull me to Las Vegas. And the Lord, I mean, I never had that happen to me before. But my friend tried to entice me and tell me, if that was me, I'd be on the plane. I said, first of all, if he wanted me to come to Las Vegas, he would have paid for me to come to Las Vegas. Not that I can't pay, but if you was that intentional, because see, I see because the other person that he didn't know I knew was talking to me, that they was all in cahoots together. That man stayed in California, and he was real. It was something that I said. It was something that I said, and his replies were all right now. I'm only so many hours away, or whatever the case may be. He was like, oh, I can drive there. Or what I said, and he was like, all right, don't play now. And so I was like, while we on that subject, if a person call themselves wanting to marry you, want to be in a relationship with you and all this kind of stuff, um, what would you do? I mean, if y'all stayed in two different cities or states or whatever the case may be, what would you do? What would you do? How would you? So the man started talking. He started telling me, and he's like, if I want you, I know what to do about it. Oh, I ain't afraid to put my money where my mouth. I don't care how much money you have. You could be rich. You could be. He said that's not the determining factor for me. So I ran across him and he said, "What nigga would have you talking about? He waiting on you to show up in Vegas." And bro was like, "I can't tell you what to do, but that's enough. That's enough." He said, "I wouldn't even answer him the next time he texts you, call you, know nothing." So I used to just throw stuff past them just to see how real they was and stuff like that. So the man tell me, he was whatever, but I was honest from the get go, y'all. I did not lie. I told him he like 6'5". So I'm like a 2% of that. So that way, oh, he told me I was fun size, y'all. Being 5 foot, I was fun size. And then he was like, so I was like, I have 4 children. And he was like, he has 7. And he want 2 more. I say, from who? He say, from you. I say, from who? Good night. Bye. So he tried to come back and try to, smooth over what he said. But I was gone at that, baby. That was cutthroat. I was willing to even give you the half a thought at the point that you sitting up here with these ugly stinking dreads sitting up on your head. But he thought he was fly guy. You couldn't tell him nothing. And I seen it. I saw it. But what the breaker was, God showed me him at work having sex with somebody in his car. And when I told him what I saw, I knew it cracked him, y'all. It cracked him. And when I started throwing them questions at him, boom, 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 and he was trying to keep from losing me because he was already, and God said, you know what they did? They bet on you. They bet on you to see which one of them would be able to reel you in, to pull you. And they all got disappointed. That's how that came about. So the Lord let me know because the wife was over here. She had some fake account or something, y'all. And the wife was she was posting oh my God, she was posting all his business, and I don't know what was going on with them wherever they live at, but she talking about come riding home down the street, and guess who the police got? And she filming him hey, wait a minute, she filming him going down the street talking about he going to jail. I was like, grown people don't do this. Like, Lord, what in the world? So I shut down the whole Instagram like the Lord told me to, or whatever the case may be. I was like, I've never had anything like that occur to me before or happened to me before. Um, but it was weird. It was just crazy. This person went to the whole thing of stalking, had a private investigator taking pictures of me. See, I told y'all, y'all think y'all know. You don't know a thing. You think you know. Literally watching and stalking me and my kids. He placed me and all my children on a freaking altar doing tarot and witchcraft. And I'm outside waiting on my grandson to get off the school bus and hear this joker sit up there. And the Lord told me, He said, I want you to hold your head down at an angle. But I want you to look over here. This man that just pulled up is an investigator. He got out his car and he had the phone and he panned around like he was looking for real estate. Mama been in the place where she was residing. She had been in that place for yeah, 'cause my brother like 30 something. Over 20 something years. And these folks have been here real estate what? So I'm sitting there, I'm like, Lord, well, I don't want anything to happen to the kids on the daycare bus or the school bus or anything like that. And I was like, but I don't want my baby to be getting off of this bus and what I don't know what this person up to. So I let my aunt know. I let my brothers know. And what he didn't see when I gave the signal to my brother, my brother had then eased from the back street and jumped the fence, and he came up on the side or whatever because he was ready. That's why I tell people, y'all gonna get enough of thinking people don't know nothing and just be by themselves. So my mom had neighbors and stuff as well that knew me for that long as well, and I had let them know. Walked up and act like I was gonna have a conversation with them and told them, and they was all on point for what was. You could try something if you want to. You finna be darn near right here. So he went and tried to. So he angled his camera on his phone to try while I was sitting there waiting on the bus. And I don't know, it was the Lord, but the bus ended up being like 10 minutes late. So all of that took place within the time frame where my grandbaby wasn't in the middle of what was going on. Because usually I pick him up and I go straight to where his mom or whatever. And I was just like, God, and the whole time. And that's what let me know my friend, where my friend. And I just thought that stuck with me, y'all. I really thought about it. And I'm like, 30 something years of friendship. And the devil was sitting up there using her, like trying to make me feel bad about standards and everything, y'all. And she was just like, I would have been on that platform. I would have been there. But I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you would. Look what you married. So when all that stuff happened with her, that's when I knew it was time to to cut it. Let it go. Not that I ain't love her or whatever, but all that toxic mess, I don't want that mess in my life. It's time for y'all people to grow up. No, I'm not the same. Y'all didn't even know me then, much less now. So y'all, it's just you have to navigate your own, and let God lead you in whatever that is. But these people out here playing a dangerous game. They was trying to put it to the point where literally somebody would come and off me, even to the internet, thinking having people thinking they was in relationships with me. I had all kind of men trying to say, that they was in a relationship with me. All kind. I'm like, who? What? They my husband? Carol Land child was telling these people they the soulmates and the twins and all. I was like, who? What is that? So this stuff right here is wild. It's crazy. I don't want no parts of it. But those are all the things y'all have to look into. And like I said, when you watch people carefully, it's at some point they're going to slip up. But the Lord very much showed me a whole lot in there. But that man was really upset that he didn't lure me to Las Vegas. And I'm seeing in a vision in the room that other guy that I said that said they would block him and whatever, whatever. But he knew who that person was. He showed me in a vision, but it was like we was in the same room but two different rooms, like the beds, and it was God was showing me like the one with all the money over there that was the ex-military man, and did this one over here supposed to be Mr. Fitness or whatever, and God was showing me like to this day I think that was some kind of way of him showing me maybe they was gonna try to run a train or something like that, but in all essence, the bottom of it, what he was saying to me, that he was paid to lure me, and they was gonna try to make it look like that something happened to me when I traveled to Las Vegas, and that's what God said. I allowed you to go through that you would warn other women, because some of y'all think y'all know, and some of y'all think y'all cautious, and y'all be knowing. And that's why all these things be coming up unawares, and these women ending up DEAD. It's nothing to play with. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not being rude. I'm not being nasty. I'm not saying I'm judging people. I'm not none of that because I'm usually that person. Look, as long as you know how to treat me and all that kind of stuff, whatever. But I know I have to put it out there to be what it is because I would hate to be out because that is even with my brother. One of my brothers and my uncle has dread. He has dread all the way down to his butt, and I. Y'all see? Now just imagine that being somebody I'm supposed to be married to. But I guess so though. I found some men kind of sexy. Well, how you call it? Handsome. Um, but them be the ones who really keep their dreads. Like you know how they'll go get them done and be looking all nice and stuff. But they be out here looking like Samson and somebody from the biblical days, like Lone Wolf or something. Everybody like Harriet Henderson. You got all this hair on the face, you Moses and stuff. Like, cut you. And I'm so glad now they done had it to the place where people know how to. I mean, they got this beard stuff now. Cause y'all, I went to pieces. The first man kissed me that had a beard like and a mustache around his. You know how they be having the brown they y'all finna start cutting up. We when they have when they have the mustache and the beard, y'all. Man, I would never. It took me like 3 years to even let somebody kiss me again. That man, they felt like needles and porcupines. And every time, ooh, I didn't want to make that man feel bad, but every time he leaned in, I was like, nope. Oh my god! He was like, well, what do I stink or something? I said, nope. But the whole yo, but the whole beard thing. So I'm glad to understand to know now men have these accommodating things to, soften their features or whatever. But I've never really been heavy into well, not into, but attracted to men that have a full face beard and stuff like that. Not to say I won't. I'm just saying that's not something I was really. I really do like a clean cut man. He got a little, and he edged all right around the face and all that stuff. I like that. But now I'm talking about that where they be putting the rubber bands down, like they the biker do. The biker dudes be looking sexy now. But I'm saying some of these dudes like, ugh. And then, they got dreads. They lazy. That to me, that's what dreads signify to me. It's with women and men, it's just laziness. You don't want to do your freaking hair. It's like, ew. Then you got all this stuff like Whoopi Goldberg piled up at the bottom, and these things look like dead worms coming out. Uh-uh. No, thank you. And then you wash this stuff or whatever, and then don't. Mm-mm. Be over there smelling like some guy out the garbage can. Let me get. Let me. I can't. I can't, y'all. I'm trying. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So you just know what your non-negotiables are. I knew y'all were gonna be at it in a minute, but I just have to keep it real. I mean, yeah, I'm not in it for tug of war with nobody or none of that or whatever. He walking around here looking like he got a limp with a kickstand and all that, and then be having. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Oh, I gotta go. But that just did. And the way, I mean, he had the cutest little fella. I knew it had to be his son when I saw him. But that little boy, woohoo, boy, Mr. Celebrity, that little boy looked woohoo. You couldn't deny him if you wanted to. I was like, oh my goodness. This little boy looked just like him, and he was so cute. And he had the nerve to be telling that little boy when it came to God. I don't even want to repeat it. But if I was even nearby thinking, because I was finna follow him, I was, but that video just took it. It just dissipated. Just I don't even want to share his content either. After that point, I just you know. And it's not to be judgy if you knew what he said or whatever. In some senses, he was right because you're not supposed to let everybody pray for you. Well, you want to be cautious about that. When he had the little boy to repeat what he said, that it just took the cake for me. Mm, yeah, no. This is what we was just talking about. Well, God see how we teach our children things or whatever, and that stuff is passed on down. Because if your daddy taught it to you and you respect your daddy, whatever, you gonna take that tradition right on through the generations and stuff. And that don't mean because your daddy taught you that that's something good. You see what I mean? But that's what I mean by you putting it out there, men, that you're looking for a certain type and breed of woman. But when y'all say certain things, especially that's very sensitive when it comes to God, but you're not thinking that the woman that's listening that could be interesting you, it could actually be a put off. You see? And you could actually, I didn't just start talking about this years ago on Instagram, and God had me talk about the same thing. He had me to prophesy that message that it was the season where God was bringing in counterparts, and He told me to tell them that some of them was gonna miss their divine counterparts by looking at credit scores and all of that, because what God was putting together, is beyond credit scores and bank accounts. And that is what's happening. And y'all keep seeing how y'all missing, y'all, you don't understand it because you still out there finding and doing your own thing. Every woman ain't a wife and every husband ain't I mean, every man ain't a husband. Y'all still trying to turn hoes into housewives and all that, like the girl Portia, celebrity girl or whatever. And she on every sitcom and everywhere with her legs gapped open, and she'll marry anything that got some money in his goddamn pocket, old, young, with worms and anything else. She claimed God is in her life and she has no morals and got a nerve to be raising children. Poor mentality. I don't care how much money. That's why I said y'all can talk all this mess y'all want to. None of that is glamour. Risk. Talking about glamorous. No, it's a nasty life. It's not a glamorous life. And so it's a wonder they've been married 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's some deep. Whew. At this point, you don't even have a wedding after 7, 3. Wait. I'm still trying to get Jennifer Lopez have a wedding for every, and maybe she just fascinated with wedding dresses, even in her movies. I don't know, but I'm like at this point, Jenny, that we over the whole wedding thing. You just announced you got married. It just took all the fun out of it. So it is. It's like all my children, young and the restless, and as the world turns, mixed into one. Hollywood sleeping with one another. It just and it's not everybody. I'm just talking about this specific group of people, and they the ones who influence the world by what they do. Everybody was waiting, and her fans got mad at her, Beyonce, for not leaving Jay-Z. How you gonna make that woman leave her husband? Where they do that at? I don't blame her. She made a bold statement, and I'm glad. I don't even know Beyonce. I don't watch her. I don't listen to her music. I think the only song that rings is that thing. And that's because I was going with somebody, and we was at a sister thing, and the sister, she was 40 something, and she had young girls for children just graduating, and some of them hadn't graduated yet. And she was walking around, they would walk around with two-piece bathing suits on, and they was all down to the ground, winding it to the ground and all that. and all these men. Her daddy worked for. I mean, her husband worked for the force, um, police, and all that kind of stuff. And he had all these men at this thing or whatever, and they were supposed to be hosting the party. Honey, they was in two-piece bathing suit, her and her children. That part, stinking booty out like he was walking through a strip club, and they was gapping and they was whining and twining, and I mean, one, two of the girls wasn't even 18 yet, and I'm looking at him as an officer, and I'm looking at the mama like, and these supposed to be uncles and partners of your husband that y'all represent in the public. Yeah, no. But it was just that's the only reason why that I got tired of hearing that song. They played it every time we came around and whatever, and it just stuck with me. It just ever imprinted in my head. Single lady, so I was thinking later, like whatever. And child, but put this that stuff. But yeah, I just said that, and I just always look at that too. I say y'all say what y'all want to say about the girl, but you gotta hand it to her, honey. Some of y'all ain't last that long in these relationships, being famous or whatever. So whatever Jay-Z got going, maybe y'all need to find that. Y'all, somebody over here hollering about witchcraft. Well, maybe hers work. I don't know. I don't believe in that stuff, so you go find it out. I don't believe in witchcraft. Wrong platform. Wrong platform. And I don't know her life. I don't know what she doing unless the Lord tell me. So I don't put false statements on people without it being something that God done said. And that means at that point I'm prophesying, not gossiping. So that's the way we keep it over here. Amen. Right. So everybody deserves their respect in their marriages, in their own home. That's their privacy. You know, them being celebrities, everything hit the news and stuff like that. But I have much respect for them because I have to live that life as well, even without a spouse. And my own family don't even understand it. They don't understand it. And everything you say, they take everything so lightly. And I'm started telling them somebody stalking me or whatever. The boys took it seriously. It was the witness. It's like, oh, you just being, um, and how would you think that anyway? I'm running around here picking up your children and stuff. But I started to see a lot of things that why